This is my Module 15 project case study of Truman Elementary School, and I am Valerie Sis, the principal. Category 1, Problem Identification and Analysis. First, what do we know? Truman Elementary School is a school with about 700 students in grades K through 8. There are approximately 3 classes per grade, putting about 25 students in each class. 15% of the student population is economically disadvantaged, and 5% of the student population speak a language other than English at home. Student achievement at Truman Elementary School is measured through classroom grades and state assessments. What else do we know? The students' reading achievement scores are poor. The reading scores are worse than their math scores. If you look at this chart on the right-hand side, you can see the difference between the reading and math scores in the past 3 years. Almost all the areas, the reading scores are worse than the math. Also, our median percentiles are around 50, with 3 grades this last year, 5th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade, scoring lower than the 50 percentile. Also, our reading scores decline as the students progress through the grade levels. What more do we know? With the declining reading scores, our students are not well prepared for high school. And, according to the PTO letter, we know that our parents are very dissatisfied. So what do we need to know? First, we need to look at which group of students aren't performing well. Is it a specific gender or ethnicity of students? Are the low scores due to any teachers in particular? Or is there another factor affecting their performance? Also, is our curriculum aligned with the standards? Are the teachers following the curriculum exactly, and is their instruction effective? Last, what do the students and teachers think of our reading program? We have evaluated several things and found these to be our problem. First, we can see that our problem is probably not due to our ESOL or economically disadvantaged students, since they make up only about 5% and 15% of our population respectively. Further, after I observed several English language arts classrooms and had a reading supervisor observe them, we found several faults in our ELA instruction. First, we utilized the Basel reading program, in which the students all use the same level books and listen to the teacher read them, take turns reading them aloud, or read them themselves. These books are followed by individually completed worksheets. Also, our students receive 1 hour of English language art instruction a day. This is not enough to give our students the full exposure that they need. Also, whole group instruction is always utilized. We don't use small group level work or individual adaptations. Strategic reading is not taught. Although a few of our teachers have been found to briefly talk about strategic reading techniques, it's not covered in depth. And last, our reading program is not aligned with the curriculum according to what the reading supervisor said. Our curriculum is outdated. Category 2, Proposed Plan of Action with Appropriate Strategies for Implementation. The first part in my plan of action is to apply for the reading program grant that is available to us due to the Every Student Succeeds Act. Of course, this grant is based on need, with part of it being based on poverty and part of it based on achievement history. Since only 15% of our students are economically disadvantaged, we probably will not qualify based on poverty. However, due to our declining reading scores, we may qualify according to achievement history. In order to apply for this grant, we need to conduct an analysis of student achievement and reading program. The student achievement analysis has already been conducted, as you can see in our declining reading scores and the state assessments. Also, the reading supervisor conducted a thorough analysis of our reading program, so that step in the plan of action is already completed. We also need to revise our curriculum standards within each grade level, and look at those standards to choose a new research-based curriculum. As far as implementation of the reading program, I first plan to inform the parents of the reading program changes. Then we will have training of all staff in the curriculum during staff in-service days. During this training, we will work in teams to discuss techniques and methods for improvement. The teams will be conducted according to grade level. We will also have a rearrangement in our schedule. This will allow more time for English language arts a day. Now, this does not mean that we have to eliminate classes like PE and art, but we will try to incorporate reading strategies into all subjects such as science and social studies. We also need to give attention to the balanced elements of reading. According to our recommendation from the reading supervisor, this means that the student should spend time working with words, phonemic and phonetic skills, read both books that are within ability and that challenge them, learn strategies to improve their comprehension, and write about what they read. We will also focus more on individualized instruction. Whole group instruction will not be eliminated, but the students will be given the opportunity to work in small groups and in stations that allow them to receive the individualized attention and adapted instruction to meet their needs. We can also utilize para support to help the individualized instruction. Last, we are going to conduct frequent assessments and analysis of the data to see if our students are improving. The parents will be notified of this progress. Category 3. Resolve the issue based on promoting the success of all students. What is best for the students? Our students need engaging activities. Reading a book and completing worksheets is not enough. Also, they need challenging activities that are individually adapted to each of their needs. As the parents stated in the letter, many of our students are bored with what they are doing. Last, what is best for our students? They will be better prepared for high school and life after graduation. This will result in happier parents and happier community members. Category 4. Debrief the problem by reflecting and by identifying issues that are unresolved. What was I thinking, feeling, and valuing when responding to this case? First of all, how can we make our students successful? Student success is the first priority of the school, and the students are the only reason that our school exists. If our students are failing at reading, they will fall behind in many other areas in life. Second, how can we ensure that all staff is supportive of and engaged in this change? While students are the main priority of the school, we also want to make sure our teachers and staff are comfortable with the changes. If they are uncomfortable with the new program or negative in any way, the students will sense it and perhaps not improve. Number 3, how can we communicate to the community that we are doing our best to serve the best interests of all students? What issues are yet unresolved? First, what is or was the staff's view of the previous reading program? Did they like that it had detailed lesson plans? Did they find the books to be beneficial if we could only use them in a different way? What should be carried forward from the old program? Second, what is or what was the students' view of the previous reading program? Did they just find the books boring and not challenging? Were the worksheets not beneficial? What exactly were their thoughts? 3. What other factors may be affecting the scores? Are the class sizes too large for individual instruction? Is there a high level of involvement in extracurricular activities? Are students not eating breakfast? And 4, will we receive the grant? If we don't receive this grant, we may have to simply reform our own reading program to be more effective. Category 5. Provide evidence that you promote the success of all students by engaging families and the community. How did I engage families and community? First, I allowed the parents to voice their opinion through the letter from the PTO president. But not only did I read their letter, but I responded by going to their meeting and communicating with them. Second, we try to keep others engaged through frequent notifications of assessment data. State assessment scores are already published in the newspaper, and they will continue to be as we continue to receive scores. Also, the school will continue to keep parents informed of their child's progress through interim assessments. And third, we are applying for the grant. In applying for the grant, we need not only support through the school, but support through the whole district, as it requires a letter from the superintendent. How did I use data to respond to and communicate concerns? First and foremost, the declining assessment scores were a huge cry for help. Now that I have been at the school for 2 years and I see the scores continue to decline, I know that something must be done. Also, the letter from the PTO president was a red flag that others have noticed our declining scores and are disappointed. Third, the letter from the reading supervisor helped us to find our weak areas and use them to make improvements. How did I use my knowledge of the laws that govern the school to bring about positive change? First, I know that parent-teacher ties are very important. Let's face it, if parents support the teacher's methods and practices, the world is a much happier place. Second, we established teaching teams to help ease the transition. According to the reading supervisor, some of the teachers are set in their ways and will require a major change in their teaching style. However, with the help from their team, hopefully they will be able to adapt to the new program. Third, I also know that student interest drives improvement. It was noted by the parents that the students are bored. If we can challenge them and interest them, hopefully we can see student improvement. How did I establish dialogue between decision makers outside of school? First, I allowed the parents to voice their opinions at the PTO meeting. Also, we communicated assessment scores in the newspaper, and we notified parents of the reading program changes, and we will inform them of the results that come. How can decision makers effectively influence instruction and student performance? First, if the parents believe in a program, they will support it. This support could be through frequent contact with the teachers about their child's progress, or maybe by reading and working with their child. Second, if the community sees an attempt at improvement, they also will be more supportive. An increase in reading scores will lead to more productive citizens that read the newspapers, write letters demanding change, or even take orders correctly in a restaurant. And third, when the students see that their parents and community are supportive of their goals, they will try to do their best not to let them down. The standards that I believe are covered in this case study are ISTE A1A, which is inspire and facilitate among all stakeholders a shared vision of purposeful change that maximizes use of digital age resources to meet and exceed learning goals, support effective instructional practice, and maximize performance of district and school leaders. This case study has required me to think about the students, staff, parents, and community members, and how the problem may be affecting them. It also required us to think of changes we could implement in order to meet the students' achievement goals and staff instructional goals. The second standard is VG1B. The education leader will articulate a school vision of learning characterized by a respect for students and their families and community partnerships. In completing this project, I think the students and their families were first and foremost in my mind when searching for improvements. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my video.